Start up the phonograph. People's in the place to be. This is dope on plastic.
Party people in the place to be. Want a fresh style? Let me show you.
People's in the place to be. This is dope on plastic.
Party people in the place to be. Want a fresh style? Let me show you.
What I do is use the turntable as a musical instrument.
Now, as far as turntablism goes, this man is it right here.
His name is Rob Swift. All production and the scratch.
That's it up, y'all.
Rob Swift.
What you wanna do?
To go from battling for t-shirts to fucking performing with Jay-Z at the ESPN Awards and fucking opening up for MTV Icon, and then Rob dropping War Games, and like at the same time, like you guys see, the guy was like productive all the way. He dropped The Ableist, he dropped Sound Event, he's dropped War Games. Like, I guess the idea is like, don't skip a beat. If you have the opportunity, take that opportunity, and he's a dope ass DJ.
You know, we all have an energy inside us, you know what I mean? And, you know, some people displace that onto sports. Other people displace it onto drawing. Some people displace it onto music, you know? And, you know, for me, DJing is a way to just, again, express myself and get this energy out of me in a positive way, opposed to, you know, doing crime or just sitting at a 9-to-5 in front of some desks pushing pencils, really not kind of just like not using my energy, you know what I'm saying? So I do it because I love being creative. I love taking something and turning it into something else, you know what I'm saying? You know, I want someone to see it and respond to it, and that's where the audience comes in.
All right, at this time, I'd like you guys to give a big round of applause. The man who needs no introduction, DJ Rob Swift, is going to do a little demo for us, and then we're going to hear some words.
I started cutting when I was 12 years old. I come from a family of DJs. My father, he was a DJ, and my brother was a DJ as well. So I guess it was just kind of in my blood. I was fortunate enough to go with my dad and help him carry stuff and watch him spin and make people dance and stuff. The cool thing was my brother was into hip hop though. So he had friends whose parents had records. So being that my dad had the best equipment, you know, he had like, back then he had Techniques, turntables, you know, sick mixers, all kind of speakers, microphones and stuff. My brother's friends weren't fortunate enough to have that in their houses. So my brother's friends would get their parents' records, bring them to our house, and they would use my dad's equipment. So after a couple of years of sitting in the living room watching them, I wanted to take part. So I asked my brother to teach me, and he did.
Rob and I have been friends. I knew Rob before he was really like Rob Swift, and he was just Rob Aguilar, and he was cutting on his father's turntables, and he'll tell you he used to put his father's turntables on 2 big speakers, and they used to be so far apart, but Rob would practice like this, like his arms would be wide out, and that's why I think he got so quick with his technique and so smooth in what he does.
I think the first record, if I recall, that I used was a record by Bob James called "Take Me to Mardi Gras." Yeah. And for those that don't know, that record has been sampled by like Run DMC, Peter Piper. It's a real popular jazz record, but in the world of hip hop, it's even more popular probably. My brother had that record at home, so that was the first record that he taught me on. You know, I remember scratching on it and stuff like that, and learning was pretty easy because I seen it for years before that, so it was kind of like I knew what to do. It was kind of like a innate thing that was already in me, like how to scratch and how to be on rhythm and in sync with the beat. It all kind of came natural, I guess, because I was around it so much.
Wow, how did the name Rob Swift come about? It was a friend of my older brother's named Jay Vaughn, and Jay Vaughn would come over the house, and you know, we'd use my dad's equipment, and you know, I'd be on the turntables cutting up beats, and my brother and Jay would be rhyming and stuff like that. And at such a young age, to be as good as I was, it was pretty rare, you know? And to understand all the aspects of DJing that I did. So he was like, yo, man, I think you should call yourself DJ Swift. So I used DJ Swift for a while, but then I felt like I wanted people to know me on a personal level as well. Like, I just didn't want to be Swift. So I threw my first name in front of Swift. Just made it Rob Swift. I just felt like it kind of brought my whole persona more like down to earth.
Growing up, I used to listen to a lot of the Red Alert, 98.7 Kiss, Chuck Chill Out, and then there were on WBLS down a couple of stations, you had Mr. Magic and Marley Marl. So every Friday and Saturday, I would, from 9 to 12, I'd sit there and listen to Marley Marl, and then go to Red Alert on Fridays, and then Saturdays I listen to Marley Marl, and then go to Chuck Chill Out, and just go back and forth and listen to what records they were playing and how they were playing the records and how they were scratching and stuff like that. And it was a thing where I would just sit there and listen on the weekends to what they were doing, and then Sunday I'd go buy the records that they played and play them the same way they did, make my own tapes, and kind of like teach myself.
I didn't hear you.
This is the first record I ever bought.
How much is it?
$10.
How much did you buy?
I'm sure I paid like maybe like $3.99 for it.
All right.
Jackson Heights, Queens. This is the old stomping grounds.
Still a stomping ground.
Yeah,
Old,
where, right? Present.
You ever gonna move?
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm gonna stay in Queens though, to be honest with you.
What's this about Queens?
I don't know, man. I'm just a Queens, cat. Something about the diversity here. I've been to all the other boroughs. I've traveled all over the world, and there's just a feeling that I get from being here in Queens that just cannot be replicated. I lived in Brooklyn for a little while, for like a year, and yeah, man, I just love it out here. Like the food and the people, the vibe is cool. All right, so
Where are we going?
all right, right now we're gonna go to the old block, old neighborhood, 89th Street. This is where basically I grew up, right here on this block, playing football on the street, right here on this wall. Over here we used to play handball, right here. We used to play football right here on this block. Park over here.
All right, so where are we going? This place?
Yeah, right here. This is the whole building.
This is where you grew up?
Yeah, this is where I grew up, right here. This building right here. Cook's way different.
At the time, I remember thinking I was probably, I'm not gonna say probably, I used to think I was the best DJ in the neighborhood. Cause all the DJs that I would meet, I felt like, damn, these guys aren't as good as me. So I remember thinking that until I met Dr. Butcher, like going to his house, he was light years ahead of me. I was there like physically seeing him like just tear up the turntables, doing routines that like I only saw DJs on videotapes, like DMC tapes and music seminar tapes do. He really, really showed me that I didn't know all there was to know the DJing. And that really, like watching him in his bedroom get busy made me understand that there was a lot more for me to learn.
State your name and tell us what do you do. This nigga's in his face. I knock motherfuckers out. He said, my name is what? Andrew Venables. And I work. And I work in a law firm. State your DJ name and what do you do?
Disaster Dr. Butcher.
And I chill.
Hey, yo, Drew, your other job, White Castle's called. They said they're going to be needing you.
Yo, is it Doc the Butcher or Dr. Butcher?
Doctor.
Okay.
Doctor, like
so you spell it D-O-C or
like
D-R?
D-R.
Like, what's up, Doc?
Like fucking Dominican Republic.
I told him I wanted to compete in the 1991 DMC competition. He was like, all right, we're going to get you ready for it. And for a whole year, we practiced, every day, Monday through Friday. I was going to his house after work. And I think he saw the seriousness in me and really respected where my heart was. And he basically took me under his wing and taught me all he knew about DJing. And not just the physical part of it, like scratching and backspinning and tricks and stuff, but he taught me, he brought like a spirituality to the whole thing. Like he would give me like daily affirmations to read. He taught me it's okay to be inspired by someone and want to learn what someone can do, but you want to also go beyond what that person knows.
And it was funny because I felt like me and Drew were like these, it's like we were overlooked. Like no one was really paying attention to us at the preliminary battle. In walks in Steve D and the rest of the X-Men. But I think that me being an unknown DJ kind of worked in my favor because when I hit the stage and I did my routine, I remember I turned heads. My goal really was to come in second because I felt at the time that no one was going to beat Steve D.
Inventor of the funk, Steve D.
They called my name first. Third place, Rob Swift, come on stage, get your prizes. And I remember going on stage and being so mad that I took the prizes and threw them in the crowd and stuff. I was so pissed off. The passion that I showed, I think really made an impression on Steve. And as a way to console me, he gave me his phone number. It was like, look, man, call me anytime you want. We could talk. Could talk DJing, and don't worry about this, man. This is just your first battle. Butcher, Dr. Butcher had already known Steve. I was like, yo, man, I want you to take me to Steve's, man. So Drew, Dr. Butcher took me to Steve's house. We practiced with him one day. And a couple of days after that, this was like in the span of like a week and a half or so, Steve D asked me and Dr. Butcher to get down with the crew. So that's how I got down with the X-Men.
Rob Swift.
up on him, but this motherfucker went beyond. Like I was saying before, all y'all making records, no reason to be sampling records. Y'all gotta sample DJs, because this motherfucker no joke. Yo, my man Rob Swift, where you at, baby? Where you at, Rob Swift? Rob Swift in the house. Come on up, baby.
Nasty home cooked hip hop. I watch girls check it. I make wanna jump butt naked like a Doodle Brown record. But now people know we're gonna have to stop when they hear my name. The fucking op.
'94, '95, he's DJing for Akinyele. What up, Ak? And you know, when you DJ for somebody, and any DJ that will be able to tell you that if the rap artist gets the pussy, you know, they might get more money, you know what I'm saying? And you're kind of like you're useful for that moment. And then afterwards you get just treated like a DJ. And I think Rob got tired of being treated like just a DJ when he could be the same focal point as any MC that you have. And I think that kind of, like he wants the attention of an MC, but he's the DJ.
Myself, Rock Raider, Mr. Sinister, and Total Eclipse became the face of the X-Men. The four of us basically carried on the torch and carried on the legacy of what Steve D and Sean C and Diamond J started in the late 80s. And around the same time, there was a revolution, a renaissance taking place within the DJ culture. You had the Scratch Pickles on the West Coast, the X-Men on the East Coast, you had the Beat Junkies in LA, and we all kind of created this renaissance that took place. So there was a boom that took place in DJing. So now we weren't just in our rooms practicing to get better. We were now on stage performing in front of jam-packed audiences, sold-out clubs. And this attention started to create opportunities for us to make albums. We actually ended up landing a recording contract with an independent label called Asphodel Records.
Nigga, Rob messed up. You made a couple of mistakes.
That's a first for Robbie.
Damn, you know, I ain't scored nothing. We ain't scored no round.
Damn,
oh,
yeah.
man, that's
I wish I
bad.
had scored.
Great. Nah, you winning, man. That's it.
Up until then, we were only used to seeing each other like on the weekends, practicing like on a Friday night or a Saturday afternoon, coming up with routines, teaching each other stuff. But when it was time for us to record an album, we made a conscious decision to be more focused on our careers and spend more time around each other and really try to build something, really try to build an identity beyond us being battle DJs, build an identity in the world of music and make an impact. We all decided to stop DJing for our rap groups. I decided to stop DJing for Akinyele and focus 100% of my time into the Executioners. Rock Raider stopped DJing for Showbiz and AG. Mr. Sinister left Common. All of us made these, you know, huge decisions, and we became a lot more centered around our own careers. I was in college, graduated college with my degree in psych, thinking I was gonna go on and get my master's. But once I graduated, I was at a crossroads because I was at a point in my career as a DJ where a lot of people knew about me and I had achieved a lot already, all through school. And I knew somewhere in the back of my mind that here's my chance to either further my career as a DJ or leave it alone and completely focus on psychology. And it was a big risk because if I would have failed, who knows what would have happened? You know what I mean? I don't know if I would have been able to go on and pursue a career in psychology and be as successful as I am in my decision to pursue a career in DJing. I don't know if I'd be as happy as I am now. You know what I mean? I don't know. I'm pretty sure actually that I wouldn't have experienced what I've experienced as a DJ, being able to travel to places like Japan and Europe, Canada, you know, Jamaica, the Caribbean, everywhere. You know what I'm saying? So there was definite risk involved, but I'm, you know, gotta take risks in life. You know what I mean?
I wanted to ask you, because a lot of people really know you guys as the X-Men.
Mm-hmm.
Why did you change your name from the X-Men to the Executioners? I know you're killing the competition, but other than that, why else?
The reason we changed the name was because in '97 we signed a label deal with Asphodel Records, and our lawyers advised us that we should change the name because X-Men, or you know, the comic book,
Right.
Stan Lee. To avoid any trouble, we just changed the name to Executioners. So here we are now, Executioners. We went from battle DJs to signing a recording contract and getting, you know, a check. And our first check was for $20,000. That was our first signing check. And to us, that was like we were millionaires.
You know what I'm saying? Because we clock G's, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, it's clock G's like that. Word up. Joe, how much you need, man?
Word up. I need like a G, man. That's for word.
Oh, word, just take the whole.
They got American money. They got American, man. They don't got the German marks. I got marks, kid.
True. I know how we do, you know what I'm saying? Look, showing up in the fat ride, you know what I'm saying? Man, the city off a G like that.
Word up, man.
I'm saying,
That's how we listen,
That's how we rolling, man. Like I said.
Well, matter of fact, yeah, I'm gonna get that back. How much you need, man? How much you need, man? Word up.
Yeah, you like two.
You like two? All right, I'm double that up.
Yeah, all right. Word.
That's how we come back that down, G. You gonna get it.
Word up.
Yo, let's get yo, how many rides? Yo. Let's go.
I mean, yo, man.
Hell you, yo, G.
They said the show is sold out, man. When we get there, man.
Yo, I forgot, damn, so you gonna come tomorrow to pick up that Ferrari?
Yeah, no doubt. So yo, you got it, right? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no doubt.
Right. I'm driving in the plus BM, you know what I'm saying? You come get that too. You gotta get that other BM, that white BMW, right?
Yeah, nah, I stole that shit.
Oh, where that's what it is.
Right, that shit, you know what I'm saying? That shit is crazy bone compared to my finances.
You know what I'm saying? Sure, I'm about to go get this Moet Cristal, you know what I'm saying? Go pick up Puff and Lock Smaller. You know what I'm saying? We about to travel, because this is how we roll, you know what I'm saying? Ain't plus, it ain't us, you know what I mean?
Yo, let's be out, mate.
Be out, word up. Be word
up. Holding that check in our hands, we had no idea what we were in for, what that symbolized. All the issues and all the problems that we were gonna face from then on, we weren't aware of. We were used to doing shows for like a couple of $100s, and we'd split, you know, $200 4 ways. You know, each of us would take home $50, and we'd be happy. We'd have money for like the week, and we'd be happy. So we really weren't prepared for all the things that come with that kind of stardom, that kind of exposure.
Hi, boys and girls. Welcome to ITS. Coming soon, the night of the turntablist.
The X-Men, Scratch Pickles, Crazy Legs from the Rocksteady crew, you know, a legendary b-boy and hip-hop pioneer, found ourselves at this restaurant. So we're all eating, and Crazy Legs goes, yo, man, wouldn't it be cool to have the X-Men battle the Scratch Pickles? And inside, I'm like, yo, I'm not trying to battle Hubert and Mixmaster Mike and Shortcut.
Take my advice. You're gonna get the hell out of here before I lose my temper, or else... You're gonna die here.
Mind you, I'm like already like 4 years removed from battling. I had stopped battling in 1992. It's 1996. By now I'm showcasing. We're about to start working on an album. So I'm not thinking about competing. But the weird thing about that was that when Legs said that, I think our egos didn't allow us to say, no, we don't want to do that. No one wanted to come off as scared. You know, at the time, we were the most respected DJs on the East Coast, and they were the most respected DJs on the West Coast. We were known for beat juggling, and they were known for scratching. And there was always this debate, which style was better. They pulled out all the stops, we pulled out all the stops.
LL Cool J is hard as battle anybody, I don't care you. They all gonna double
When we got signed to Asphodel Records, I was the manager and the road manager of the group. It was nothing for me to step into that role.
It doesn't work when you have somebody in the group that wants to step up and be like, hey, like, I got this, you know? Like, unless everybody in the group, I'm not saying that nobody in the group trusts Rob or didn't think he was able to handle himself. I mean, of course I know Rob can handle himself, but at the same time, that always causes friction amongst friends when you have best friends and one is the owner or the leader. Like, there's always, even if somebody doesn't say it, there's always somebody that's gonna feel a way.
I think they just wanted to focus on being creative, being DJs. But now we're not just dealing with, $1,000 or $500. We're dealing with, thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars. And I think as a result, it just became more of an issue.
Once you take friends and all we wanted to do was battle / show everybody how fucking nice we were, just to sum it up, Once you take that and you put these 4 friends into business situations, shit is gonna fuck up eventually.
We didn't spend enough time really talking about things it's like I may come up with an idea, and for the sake of not arguing, I think a lot of times the guys would just agree with me, but inside they may have had their differences, or they may have had other suggestions as to how to go about handling issues like money.
Things are always going to happen, you understand, whether you work them out in the long run or not. And in our case, I think it was just a lot of people, like, I think we were basically holding our tongues and really not saying nothing for a while because we didn't understand conflict, because we were friends.
Let me go through, because that's how it be, you know what I'm saying?
What the hell is wrong with your passport?
His passport is just worn out from mad traveling.
Yeah, heard up. These niggas use the page.
Just like an old Bible.
Joey got scotch tape on his passport. Let's show him the rip. Watch for that box if it comes in. Joey, show us the rip.
Oh, damn, that box. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Let's compare.
No. This is what your passport should look like. This is what your
This is
passport
what Joey's look like.
shouldn't look like.
So it really came to a head, and we were in Switzerland, and we had a show there. Rock Raider actually ended up going to Switzerland earlier, a couple of days earlier, and myself, Mr. Sinister, Total Eclipse, met him there. Being that Rock Raider got there before we did, he kind of established a relationship with the promoter there that was throwing the event. So when I got there, I remember approaching the promoter and being kind of annoyed at the fact that we hadn't gotten paid any per diem. We hadn't been fed the whole day. I remember Raider just kind of felt like I was being, it's like I was being kind of like too harsh. An argument pretty much just kind of arose from that whole incident. You know, me addressing this promoter in a way that kind of made Raider feel uncomfortable. And that argument spawned all these other things that were going on that I wasn't aware of. So I remember Raider and I like yelling at each other, you know, in the hotel lobby, in the elevator, in the hallway, walking to the hotel. And all of us were kind of like upset, but at the same time, I think shocked that we were arguing because we've never had an argument up until then.
You know, only conflict I knew was with Rob was, well, what should I use, second MCs or this record in the DMC routine? Like that was, you know small things like that, like DMC routines, and what are we gonna order, pizza or Chinese food while we practice? Like that's as big as you know, like that. That's the only kind of conflict we had, and you can't even call that conflict.
But I think that as much of a manager as I was to the group, they still saw me as one of the members.
It became a point where the DJs were like, okay, we're all fucking nice. And so it was never, there was never no pecking order. It was always level. It's for good or for worse that Rob, you know, that people saw him as a leader. It was a positive, I think, because Rob has great articulation skills, so he can get his point across, and he can also get the group's point across sometimes when the group couldn't get the point across. But I think there was a little bit of envy because of that within the group, and I also think that might lead people to think that Rob was being cocky or too controlling. And I think, you know, when you have strong personalities and like all the executioners are leaders in some sort of way, because, you know, they're leaders in what they do. And it's hard. It's like you have a whole bunch of kings. You can only have one king, one queen, you know what I'm saying, one pawn, one bishop.
So I think the idea of me managing the group and being a member of the group started to create a lot of tension and friction because I was making decisions about money and then also being creative. So it's like if they disagreed with me on something, how do you go after that to the turntables and be creative after you done had an argument about money or something like that? It's hard to do that.
So it was real difficult for me to get things across the way I felt them in my heart. It was real difficult for me to get them across the way I would really, you know, it was just difficult for me to get my point across because it would come out with a lot of aggression, you know, behind it.
Both sides aired out their feelings on the matter, but nothing was really solved. The one thing that we did decide to do was to get someone outside of the group to manage the executioners. And that's when we got Peter Kang, who's from Ill Tongue Management. Although we got a manager, I was still really involved in a lot of the behind the scenes things that were going on. I'm outspoken. You know, if I have an idea, or if I have a question or concern, I'm gonna raise it. I'm not gonna put it in someone else's hands. As much as it is the job of a manager to kind of speak for their artists, I also want the people that we're dealing with to hear me and feel where I'm coming from directly.
I mean, when we had management, I don't think our management was able to step in and mediate little things, like be like, hey, look, well, the problem isn't between y'all, and, you know, just get people talking. It's like the management kind of, in my opinion, the management kind of was like, all right, well, do you agree with me? This is what I want to get this DVD done. You agree with me, Rob? Okay, let's get it done. We don't need, you know, if such and such ain't feeling it, such and such ain't feeling it, I don't care. Me and you are on the same page. Let's go with it. Rather than the group getting together, it's like, I mean, there was just a better way we could have handled our business among each other and then come to the management with what we agreed with as a group. Like, we've never done that.
After Expressions, the group got such a huge buzz on the underground that we started to create interest on a major label scale. Rick Rubin saw us performing at the Roxy in LA. He was just blown away. You know, he never saw 4 DJs on 6 turntables rocking that way, coming together the way a band would. And I remember he came backstage and was like, you guys are awesome, you guys are incredible. I'd really like to sit down with you guys and talk about working with you in the future. Why don't you let me take you to breakfast tomorrow morning before you guys head out to the next city? And we're like, yo, Rick Rubin is talking about taking us to breakfast because he wants to sit us down and talk to us about working together in the future. He sat us down and basically told us that he wanted to sign us to a recording contract with Def America. And we were just like, hell yeah, we'll definitely do this. Now, at the time, we were still signed to Asphodel Records, and we were contracted to, we were contracted to do 1 album, but in good faith, we told them that we would record a 2nd album with them once they got us the paperwork, but they never did. As much as I felt it was wrong for us to leave that way, I understood why the group wanted to go with Rick Rubin. So I was like, all right, let's do this. So we gave Rick Rubin our word, basically, and said we would sign with you guys. Just so happens that now the buzz really started to catch on amongst all these other record labels, and Loud Records started to get interest in signing the group. And the interesting thing about Loud was that Sean C., one of the original members of the group.
Here we go. I'd like to say one thing. Jack, stop that for 1 second so I can make my speech.
Was working as an A&R at Loud. Now the group had a dilemma. We told Rick Rubin that we wanted to sign with him, but our friend, one of the founding members of the X-Men, is saying that Loud's interested in signing us. From a creative standpoint, I felt that Rick Rubin would really help the group discover its potential and really help the group understand how to apply the turntable in a recording studio. In my opinion, I think that they saw Loud as a means of getting to the next level, which was producing, and DJing was gonna be kind of like a path to that end goal. And I remember Rick Rubin actually came to my house and sat down on my futon and was like, yo, man, like I feel really fucked up about this, man, and what can I do to convince the guys that Def America is the right place for them? And I remember telling him, like, look, man, I think you should call everyone and talk to them and show them just how much you want to sign a group and just how much you believe in the group creatively. But the guys, the calls didn't matter. You know, he reached out to all of them, Raider, all of them, and they were just convinced that being on Loud was the better fit for us. That's when I realized, like, yo, where I want to go musically is different from where the rest of the group wants to go musically. And it's tough knowing that, seeing that something's about to happen that may not necessarily be good for the group, but kind of going along with it anyway. That it's hard, it's really tough and hard to be in that kind of situation, but I basically dealt with it because I thought at the time it was the best thing to do to avoid conflict.
'97, we're on the Elements of Hip Hop tour, and we're in Vancouver. It's like the 20th day in the tour, and you know, Joey, he's a little, you know, absent-minded. So after the party, we have a good time at the party. Joey's like, oh, I got this girl, you know, I'm gonna hang out with this girl. Joey disappears with this girl, so we're like, we have to leave at 4 o'clock in the morning. You know, we gotta catch our flight. Joey calls us at 3:30. Yo, I left my records in the girl's cab and I gotta go find it. And then he gets in the cab and he doesn't have any money. Then he gets into a fight with the cab driver and then he misses his flight to Phoenix. And I had to wait at the airport like an extra 2 hours until Joey just showed up. It wasn't like, so anyway, that's just like the short version of a Joey. He has disappearing acts. He does his own thing.
I like to go out and do my thing. You understand? Joey, let the record go. I'm a type of dude that I like to go into the town, experience the atmosphere I'm around. The other guys a little bit laid back. You know, Rob's a little bit laid back. So is Raider, so is Eclipse. They a little bit laid back.
He was living a lifestyle that we felt was detrimental to the group.
I'm a type of dude that would go out with a chick at the end of the show, and I wouldn't come back till maybe 6 in the morning. And they'd be like, damn, Joe, we got a show coming up, yo. And I'll be like, all right, I got you. I will always do the show. Don't get me wrong, I always do it. But I understood that my co-partners, they know that I'm a little wild. I'm on the wild side. So I can understand at certain levels why they would look at me and they would be like, oh, damn, Joey, goddamn, man.
The group just didn't agree with a lot of things that Sinister was doing. And that was creating tension that was just unbearable.
Understanding that when you come to practice late, that means something. You're taking time from our practice, time that we take out from a week and block out to make ourselves better. Like, if you show up an hour late, we could be an hour better. If everybody just wasn't on the same page, in my opinion.
And by then, all of us had invested so much of ourselves into DJing and becoming a success that we felt like we couldn't allow Sin's lifestyle to be the downfall.
Got Rob Swift. Got Big Bub.
Flash behind the camera.
You got Common Man doing his natural thing. Got GM Rock Raider.
You know, he counseled Joey, he tried to help Joey a lot of times, but what can you do? You know, you try to help somebody, but then when that person turns on you and they're kind of like, yo, why'd you, you know, why are you saying this to me? Who the fuck do you think you are? And shit like that. It's just, then you get to like, all right, cool, fuck you then.
It was just decided that for the sake of the longevity of the group and for the sake of everyone's peace of mind that we just part ways.
They just wanted the best for the group. They wanted the best for everything. And I understood that. Sometimes I would go on my little wild tangents. And they knew that. They understood that. You know what I mean? They were just trying to make the best thing for everybody. And that's what I understood.
So that was really tough because that was a sign for us that things changed. We never ever envisioned having to make a decision like that, like whether or not a member was going to be a part of the Executioners or not anymore, you know?
Were you ever mad at Rob?
I was never mad. No, hell no. Nah.
What about?
At first I was.
Okay.
At first I was. I ain't gonna front. At first I was mad at him. Later on down the line, when I spoke to my man, the man was like, yo. He was like, yo, you know what, man? Rob is your friend. He's the type of dude that just wants the best for everybody. And if somebody comes, he's just gonna try to make the best situation because he's concerned about his career. And I was like, you know what, man? You're right.
Sin played a huge role in me being able to win the 1992 East Coast DMC in that, you know, he would come over my house and time me, watch me practice my routines and give me feedback on stuff. And, you know, he would come, you know, rain, sleet, snow. It didn't matter what day, what time of day, you know, what the weather was outside. He'd always come in and time me. So I miss that. You know, I miss having that kind of bond with someone. And, you know, I'll never forget his role in helping me just to support, just that alone, you know, the fact that he supported me so much. So when Sin left, for me, it was almost like a wake-up call that we weren't as close as it seemed anymore. And it seemed like the success that was coming our way, while it was exciting, there was a price we were paying for it at the same time. You know what I mean? It was like a thing where the more successful we became, the more issues started to arise. And I think that Sinister leaving was like the first real sign that the group wasn't gonna last forever in the same capacity, you know, with the same members. You know, that there was gonna come a point where, you know, the face of the group might change.
We in motherfucking Cali. Today's the video. Executioners. Niggas don't even know.
Well, it's a groundbreaking day here. We got every DJ who's anybody in the house tonight. We got the Visionaries. We got the Beat Junkies. We got some famous people here. Exhibit was just here. I seen X-Men like maybe 6 years ago in a little club up in Seattle, just doing an intimate evening, you know, and then for them to fuse this whole rock and, dude, it's unbelievable, man, you know? It's cool, man.
Yo, Raider Hendrix, rip that shit up, kid.
One of the things that I really like about today's video is that it just really bridges a lot of gaps and meshes different genres of people, music,
you know, you got
skateboarders next to rappers, next to DJs, next to rock artists.
Exactly. So it's like everything, multi-faceted. We want our audience to be larger than just other DJs or other hip hop fans. You know, we want people that are into rock, all kinds of music to like and appreciate what we do. One thing I want to say about Linkin Park too is that they're real supporters of the whole DJ movement and hip hop in general. You know what I'm saying? And I was speaking to him earlier today, and with Mike, and Mike actually informed me that on this next tour that they're going on in February, they're gonna have DJ competitions each night, and that's, you know, at a rock show, that's not something you see, a DJ competition, you know what I'm saying? And I think it just goes to show that they really respect the art form, and that our bond with them is more than just like a political thing. You know, it's a musical thing, and it was just all creativeness and like fun. Hopefully this will help us branch out and reach a lot of people that don't have access to like the DJ battles that people know us from. And, you know, we're like, now this whole video thing today with Linkin Park puts us on a whole new visual level, a level that we, you know, is new to us.
My whole goal is just to be a DJ that people recognize and people will see me and go, he's ill, I see him. And I'm like, we're fucking here, we did an album for Loud, we did a video with Linkin Park, so there's no telling where we're gonna take this, there's no telling where the turntables is gonna go.
Yeah.
Y'all know the name. Up from the hip-hop underground comes the Executioners, four turntablists from New York who have achieved icon status to a small but devout group of scratch fans worldwide. Among them, fortunately for the X-Men, Linkin Park.
As you can tell, it takes years and years to perfect what they do.
Oh, they are unbelievable.
They're awesome.
And after years and years, the Executioners have scored a top 20 album, a first for turntablism.
They're legends and pioneers in their own right, and anyone who's up on beat juggling and scratching vinyl should definitely know the Executioners. Now, the turntablists, that's right, just dropped their second album titled Built from Scratch and are making huge inroads into Middle America, thanks in part to their successful collaboration with the boys of Linkin Park. Now, Executioners performed with the band at last year's VMAs and opened for them on tour. Now, the DJs have exploded onto the scene with their own single and video for It's Going Down, I love that song, featuring Linkin Park as well as Wayne Static of Static X.
We like this.
All right, the Executioners are killing it this week.
Give it up for the Executioners. Please welcome the Executioners.
Give it up for the Executioners!
We were so used to being in an environment that was more like underground, you know what I mean? More of like our peers, and here we're in front of an audience exposing what we do worldwide. Why was it that we made it that far, that we made it on a major label? Obviously, the big song on that album was It's Going Down, featuring Linkin Park. We owe a lot to them because they really helped propel the Executioners to an audience that didn't know the group existed or didn't know the culture of turntablism existed. And we were getting heavy play on MTV. And my role on that song was more of a, you know, supporting role. I just scratched on it, and that was more of a thing that Sean C. and Rock Raider came together with Mike and kind of helped bring out. You know, with the exception of maybe 3 or 4 songs, I really didn't play much of a role. I'm gonna be candid with you. The thing that bothered me about our second album, Built From Scratch, was that the album revolved more around who we collaborated with, and it didn't really shine a light on us artistically. What was so special about the Executioners? Was it that we made good music with other bands, or was it that we were these DJs using the turntable as musical instruments? You know, what was our niche? When you look at the album and look at the credits, almost every other song is featuring like a rapper. But then there were other songs on there that we did that I felt easily could have been songs with just the four of us scratching it up, doing some creative shit on the turntables. It was a thing where I felt like, man, you know, we're setting ourselves up for failure in a way, because people are gonna think that the Executioners, you know, travel with all these people when we go to do these shows, and that was not the case. We were gonna be on stage, just the four of us, and the fans were gonna be like, well, where's Linkin Park? And you know, where's Everlast? You know what I mean? Where's Bismarck?
Please welcome the Executioners with Exhibit and Static X.
Yeah! Come on, y'all. Welcome to the future. Static X, Executioners, X to the Z. Come on. Put your hands up. Come on, y'all. It's going down. It's going down. It's going down. Come on. Yo.
You do it like this.
You know, we'd show up to places and be like, yo, is Mike Shinoda here? You know, are you gonna perform It's Going Down? And after like hearing that 1,000 times, we tried to figure out ways to perform It's Going Down without Mike Shinoda, and that didn't work. And it never worked. It was never, you know, the full impact of what the original track sounded like. The success of that song ended up kind of typecasting the group. By the time we started recording Revolutions on Columbia Records, their whole thing was, well, you had this success with Linkin Park, we need another song like this. Once I realized that the group was on a different page and that I wanted to do different things creatively, that I wanted to experiment in ways that they just didn't feel comfortable on, I really dived into my own solo career a lot more. I'd go do Executioner stuff and I'd feel unhappy because I felt like we were doing stuff that we had already established, that we had already done. I felt like we weren't really growing as DJs. It's like I needed an outlet for the things that I couldn't do with the Executioners.
Today, we're gonna hit you with some new shit. This shit is called turntablism. Like for the past 10 years or so, I've been trying to prove that the turntable is a musical instrument. You know what I'm saying? And I felt what better way to explain that than to actually have a live band playing in background. We'll give you a little taste.
I felt so bad about what we did in regards to leaving. I remember going up to Asphodel and sitting down with them and telling them, look, man, you know, I feel bad about this. Why don't you let me record an album with you guys just to mend things, you know? So when I asked them, they were like, let's do it. And that album became The Ableist, which was my first solo album. It was an opportunity for me to start to learn more about myself as an artist and experiment more and try things that I felt uncomfortable doing with the Executioners.
Is there somebody, you know, your dream collaboration? Who would that be for both of you?
Collaboration. Well, I've worked with some really, you know, amazing people. I've worked with Herbie Hancock, Bob James, a well-known jazz artist.
It was just dope meeting him, man, because again, you know, I have his albums and I grew up listening to him, like 10, 11 years old. My brother used to play a lot of Bob James records back in the days, and Bob is like someone that has influenced everyone in hip-hop, basically. You know, he's been sampled so much, and he's just like helped hip-hop come as far as it's did, you know? If it wasn't for like jazz artists like that and Herbie Hancock and all that, like a lot of us producers and DJs probably wouldn't be spinning the certain kind of records that we do or producing the way we do. So to meet him, like, you know, 18 years later or whatever, is like a blessing.
Hey Rob, have you heard this?
No, I haven't.
You gotta check this out, man.
I'm out the bar for you.
I want you to check it out.
Yeah, I'm out the bar for you, man.
I had some guy on right into my website. He was really mad. He says, I bought this record. I want my money back. I said, I can't believe this is not Bob James.
Really?
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's drastically different.
Yeah, I gotta hear that. I definitely gotta hear that.
The thing about it is he's real down to earth and he's a regular person, you know? He's real cool and he likes like what I'm doing as a DJ, like scratching and the whole turntable movement. So, you know, it's all music. Basically, you approach the turntable when you're playing with Bob James the way you would a guitar or a bass.
It would be real cool if you could play this tune on the piano. For like 4 bars, and then I throw in mine.
Yeah, okay.
And then you'll be playing over it, and then when I start to do my solo, you could just pull back. And so.
One thing I learned with jazz is that unlike hip hop, when you watch like a rap group perform or like a bunch of DJs, usually it's like set routines that you're watching. But when you're dealing with like a jazz artist, it's wide open. Just try to feel the energy in the room with the people and with the other musicians. You just go and just take it wherever it takes you. So it's less constricting. Well, we rehearsed basically like one day for a couple of hours and just decided to just try to wing it and just have fun.
That would be crazy, Bob, if you do that. The crowd will go nuts. Right? Use some tricks. Just no. Fall in.
Now, who's gonna go? Havoc, you see the guy? Yeah. You know Prodigy, if I got the right one, he's the nephew. It's Mike Johnson's nephew. Huh? Who? Prodigy, that guy from Mobb Deep. Yeah, you know Bud. Johnson Saxon. Yeah. That's his nephew. No kidding.
So this will be your time to solo and...
It's me and you do it live on stage. It's me and you do it live.
Anyone that's fucking working with Bob James, forget about it. That's top, you know, just on a musical level, that's top shelf right there, man. You don't even need nothing else no more. It's like Bob fucking James. Not sampling Bob James, you're working with fucking Bob James.
It's me and you do it live on stage.
How would you describe the energy?
Fun. That's the first thing that comes to mind. Is just the energy when you get to jam with someone like Bob James and like people that you respect, like the Fifth Platoon. It's just fun, you know. You're being creative, and I mean, I'm pretty sure I'm gonna go home thinking of different ideas to do now.
When I was with the Executioners, everything that I did was for the group. And although I had an outlet for a lot of my solo stuff, you start to kind of lose a part of yourself. And you kind of fuse part of who you are with the group identity. You see yourself doing things that you wouldn't normally do if you were on your own. But you're doing it for the sake of the group, for the betterment of the group, because it's what the group wants to do. I wasn't really looking forward to practicing as much as I used to look forward to it. I wasn't really looking forward to traveling and touring as much because I wasn't getting out of it what I used to. But I was getting out of the music for my solo career that I needed. So I felt like, wow, like I'm being a lot more challenged and productive, and I'm growing more with all these solo ventures that I'm taking part in. But with the Executioners, it's just kind of becoming like the same old thing. In order to be creative, you have to have a certain kind of freedom. And I just felt that I didn't have it. Like I felt that I felt almost scared to bring up ideas. I felt like apprehensive about suggesting things and bringing thoughts to the table because I felt, how is it going to come off? And once you start putting those kind of limits on yourself, then you're not going to really grow creatively.
Say what you mean what you feel, you know? Like, don't hold that shit in, man, because shit builds up.
Revolutions came out in June of 2004, and our record label really wasn't doing a good job of promoting the album. Like, they just didn't know what to do with us, basically. So the group was like in a rut, and all of us were kind of like depressed and upset and mad. So I came up with this idea of putting out a DVD that featured us on tour. And I felt that that would be something for us to focus on that would take us away from the stress that we were experiencing on Columbia Records. I remember bringing up the idea and being so excited about it and so energetic and just having everything outlined in my head about what I wanted to do, what I felt the DVD could contain. As I was talking, it seemed that Raider interpreted a lot of my ideas as me having my mind already made up. So, you know, misinterpretation of what my intentions were led to another argument. And I think it's unfortunate that a lot of that stuff always ended up being me and Raider, the ones that kind of disagree and argue about stuff. That kind of bothered me because me and Raider at the time were, you know, the oldest members of the Executioners. Like, we were in the group the longest from the days of the X-Men.
It's just, I don't know, man. It's like we couldn't find that comfort zone of working with each other.
We were like brothers at one point, inseparable. You know, we went everywhere together. If someone challenged him in a battle, I wanted that person to battle me first. You know what I mean? And I hated that person for challenging Raider. You know, and you know, it could have been the nicest guy, but anyone that like disrespected him or came at him in a negative way, I got offended. And that's how close we were.
Before anything, we were friends. We were friends first with a love for what we were doing.
He and I had a connection to each other that wasn't there with Eclipse and wasn't there with Sinister, for example.
Above and beyond all this, man, we came in this shit as friends, man, and as soon as fucking, I'm not gonna say money, but as soon as the business got involved, business, man, fucking corporate shit always fucks up fucking relationships, man. It's fucking, you just gotta, unless you have proper management to step in and mediate the situations, then it won't happen. Maybe it won't happen, but yeah, we're an example of that.
And we went from being so close and so on the same page to having conflict about ideas and having conflict about the very thing that made us happy, which was being creative. Now, creativity was leading to arguments. So it just came to a point where I wasn't happy, and I was like, all right, man, I've had it. I'm gonna leave the group because I feel that that's the only thing that I could resort to doing that's gonna save me from not wanting to just be in any kind of relationship with you guys. You know what I mean? It came to a point where I felt like it was a necessary evil. You know, like I needed to do it in order to not hurt the personal relationship that I had with the fellas. So, you know, I ended up leaving in September of 2004.
Yo, I don't wanna ill, I just wanna chill. My man Rob Swift got crazy skill. Straight up. Chicken ball, come on, chicken ball, yeah, yeah. Chicken ball, yeah, yeah. After this, come on, yeah. I was listening to the radio. My man Flo Master Flex played this today. Go like this. We fight every night, now that's not kosher. I reminisce with bliss of when we was closer and wake up to be greeted by an argument again. Yo, you act like a 10, so immature. Trying to concentrate on a cure and keep looking at the front door. We ain't thinking if I want to evacuate, you probably be straight in the straight. And where the hell is much hate? Cause you don't know the pain I feel when I see you smiling. And when I roll up, you start wagging. So I feel like everything's hunky-dory. But it's a whole different story. You don't like the fact that I'm me. I don't put on a show when it comes time for you to have company. And your friends don't understand your choice of man. Let's be proper while I'm speaking from a garbage can. But regardless, you shouldn't have to be so raw. I'm looking at the front door. Chicken boom, boom, boom. Come on, chicken boom, boom, boom. Come on, chicken boom, boom, boom. Come on, chicken boom, boom, boom. Yeah, chicken boom, boom, boom. Come on, chicken boom, boom, boom. Yeah. And when you're with your friends, I glide to the side until the spotlight is mine. And never sabotage you all time. But when you're not around, the fights commence. I'm the one you're against, and it doesn't make sense. Cause I'm the one that you claim to love for life. But all I get is right-handed strike. And I can play some old stuff on rapper roll. And get foul every time you lose control. But that's not my order of operations. So I surrender no more philosophication. Cause that's all a fella can have with a girl that's shooting up his world like Shaft. And I don't think that I can take it anymore. Check it out, y'all. The front door. Yeah, Rob Swift, where you at, kid? Yeah, Rob Swift, y'all. Rob Swift, Rob Swift, Rob Swift, y'all. Yeah, Rob Swift, y'all. Rob Swift, Rob Swift, Rob Swift, y'all. Looking at the front door. Rob Swift, yeah, straight up. My man Paul's looking at the front door.
There was a point where DJing was kind of like on the lowest of the totem pole. You know, you would think of DJing as like, oh man, you do that, you must not really be making much money. It's like you were either a rapper, a producer, or DJ. You know, and out of the three, DJing kind of came last. It was something that was looked at and almost frowned upon by a lot of people, and now it's the thing to be, you know? So I credit, you know, what we did, you know, in the early 90s for how successful it is now, definitely. I think in the back of our minds, like, we thought it was possible, but at the same time, I don't think we were really prepared for just how much of an influence the world of DJing was going to be on music. I think that they probably see me as stubborn, as a person that once he makes up his mind, there's no changing it.
Rob's a good guy, but Rob also is set in his ways, and he's also stubborn.
Maybe at times I was stubborn, and maybe at times there was no changing my mind when I made it up. There were times where I didn't trust that an idea of his was going to work. I think we all were guilty of that in some way, on some level.
You know, honestly, I don't think we ever gave it. I don't think we ever gave it a fair chance as far as sitting down and saying, okay, let's do a beat together. We don't have to hold hands, and you know, and like we don't. It's like I don't think we ever gave it a fair chance. I don't think we ever. We went upstate one time when we was working on our album to Bearsville for like a week, and even that was kind of like, all right, this is Raiders beat. Let's work on this. So it was never like, okay, we all sat down and came from something, you know, and started a song from nothing.
Maybe that's why it was good for me to leave the group even, because it was a chance for me to maybe come to terms with a lot of that on my own.
At the same time, I always say everything happens for a reason. I think Rob needed to kind of leave the group to get his shit off, honestly, you know?
I like the fact that I could go about things at my own pace. And I'm really enjoying the freedom I have. I like where I'm at right now as a solo artist. It's like I just get to do whatever I want. If I wasn't a DJ, I'd be working in the psychology field, I'm pretty sure. So I went to college and studied psychology, got my bachelor's in psychology, loved the field. And I think, you know, even now, even though I'm a DJ, I still apply a lot of what I learned to the turntables and the dealing with people and stuff like that. So I'd definitely be a therapist. I always wanted to be a football player, though. That was something that I wanted to do from early on, but never did that. So. War Games is my take on what's going on right now in the world, politically, socially. Dudes rather talk about their fancy cars and women and stuff like that. Those terrorist acts really impacted me to the point to where I felt I needed to speak on what's going on, because I felt that there weren't enough artists out there speaking on it. Well, why not me? So through the use of the turntable, I took a lot of the sound bites that I was watching on news channels and burned stuff to CD and just created songs around them.
So that's how you delivered it.
There's two things you could do whenever adversity hits you. You could sit there and take it, or, you know, like you said, you could get up and do something about it.
This is an experience, I feel. This album is more than just like a guy showing off how dope he is on the turntables. This is me trying to say something and trying to walk in the footsteps of like Public Enemy and KRS-One, but as a DJ.
I think that all the years that I spent in the studio with Executioners, growing as a solo artist, working with people like Akinyele and Bob James and all these different artists, prepared me to create an album like War Games. A lot of people, I think, are definitely taken back by the content and how I put together all that news content from the eyes of a DJ. Like, I think people are like surprised even. Like, I don't think they really expect to hear what they hear on the album. And to be a friend of mine, you know, put it pretty simple. He was like, yo, it's like a straight up documentary that you did, you know? Like you took all these real events and composed this like movie sonically, you know what I'm saying? And yeah, I think people are definitely impressed by that. So makes me feel good, man. You're working on an album and you wonder whether or not people are gonna like your stuff, you know, and it finally comes out, and then, you know, the response to it is what you hoped. It's definitely a good feeling.
Now I'm just spreading my wings, man. Experimenting, doing shit, having fun, which is what this is supposed to be, man. Fun, experimenting. Not dudes holding each other back and having attitudes and shit like that, you know?
You seem much more,
yeah, man.
I don't know, I don't want to say happy, but...
In everything, man. I'm much more everything, yo, for real, man.
Right now, with the Executioners, Rock Raider, Eclipse, everything's cool. After, you know, a year and a half or so of being away from that, I think that we've all come to a point where we realize that regardless of what the differences were that existed amongst all of us, that we had to really try to put aside all that for the sake of the friendship, you know, because no matter what, we started off as brothers, you know, enjoying what we did, learning from each other, inspiring each other, and I wouldn't have made it as far as I did if it wasn't for Raider and Eclipse.
Like, I just wish I could go back in time and just erase that whole thing, because when I look at it, I mean, we both said that I've done things that were wrong, you know, I admit that, you know, and I'm sure Rob's admit that he's done things that are wrong, you know, so I just wish I could go back in time and erase that, because when you look at the overall big picture, when you just look at everything, me and Rob had the same intentions and the same intensity to get what we wanted, but we just had two different views. Not two different views, but we were going at it two different ways, like, you know?
Yeah, different styles, I guess.
Different styles, exactly.
We're not arguing anymore. We're not having differences. It's like we're friends again. We could focus on that. So it's been cool.
You know, I had the chance to look at my wrongs. I'm sure Rob had a chance to look at, you know, what he felt was wrong or whatever. So it's like we can't, like, just, you gotta kind of step back from the situation to understand and see what your role in it was, whether it's positive or negative. You have to step back and be like, damn, that was fucked up, or maybe I shouldn't have said that to Rob, or maybe I shouldn't have did this, or damn, if Rob would have just came to me like this, maybe this wouldn't have happened. You understand? So with that in mind, I know how to deal with Rob. I know how to, you know, I know if he gives me something, or if we're gonna do a song together and I give him a beat CD, maybe that beat CD, maybe there's not something on there that he wants to do at that time. You gotta understand that. You know, like it's something that we're both doing. We both have to agree. If he doesn't agree, that's his opinion. You gotta fucking let that slide off your shoulder, like whatever. That's not, you know, like at the end of the day, both our goals is to make a hot song and fucking put our stamp on this shit that we're doing.
Making music never really was the issue. I think the issue was always, how do we come together? How do we bring the differences in opinions that we have to the table and respect everything? You know what I mean? Respect everyone's opinions and not feel that one opinion is better than the other.
I'm stubborn as shit. You understand? Like I don't want to hear anything that I've done wrong, period, from anybody.
Throughout all the arguments, throughout all the disagreements, I figured out a way to put a lot of my animosity about things that happened aside, and they did the same. They managed to come to terms with a lot of their issues and a lot of their emotions about things that I may have done or said, and now we could all just talk and be friends.
One thing that stuck in my head, he was like, yo, Ray, like not for nothing, man, but we're doing what we always wanted to do. You know, we're making money, you're living comfortably, we're famous or whatever the hell you want to say. And he's like, there's nothing to be mad about. Like, what are you mad about? And that shit always stuck. I never told Rob that, but that always stuck. I was like, that's right. Like, I don't, like coming from what I came from, I have nothing to be mad. I could do what I want, come and go, buy what I want. It's like, I'm all right. And I'm acting like somebody who's still in the struggle, Like I'm acting like I still got the same finances or I still got the same problems as I did when I was living in Harlem. It's different now.
The older you get, you just learn how to put things in perspective a lot better than you do when you're young, And we realized that at the end of the day, we all meant well. Doing the art is definitely what it's all about, and it's the payoff, and it makes up for whatever negative or frustration you may experience. Being on stage, hearing a crowd roar for a routine that you spent hours and hours developing, or having someone approach you with a CD of yours, asking you to sign it, the payoff, that's the payoff right there, man. It makes it all worth it, definitely. It's definitely really cool, man, to kind of go back and put all the time that has passed in perspective, how like looking at pictures of me in my living room DJing, knowing that in my mind at the time I was thinking how I wanted to get to this point that I'm at now. I've accomplished a lot of what I set out to do.
We've put our stamp on this shit, whether it ends today, whether we come back, or regardless what happened, Executioners / X-Men had a major part to do with this shit we call turntablism. No one can take that away from us. No one can take away what Mr. Sinister's done, what I've done, what Rob has done, what Tony Clip has done. Period.
Oh yeah. Check this one out. Break it down, Rob.
Oh, yes. Oh, yeah. Break it down. Oh yeah, Rob Swift. Nobody beats the band. Nobody beats the band. Come on. Oh yeah. Break it down. Oh yeah, make some noise, come on. Rob Swift. Oh yeah. Rob Swift. Ah yeah. Oh yeah, make some noise for Rob Swift,
Oh yeah, I got so much trouble on my mind. We refuse to lose. Here's your ticket. Hear the drummer get wicked. I got so much trouble on my mind. Refuse to live. I got so much trouble on my mind. Refuse to live. I got so much trouble on this. I got so much trouble. Break it down, Rob. I got so this. I got so this. I got so this. I got 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 Rob Swift. I got oh yeah. I got so much trouble. Oh yeah, make some noise for Rob Swift. What's up? Here's your ticket. Here's your ticket. Here's your ticket. Here's your 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 oh yeah. Hear the drummer get wicked. Break it down, Rob. Hear the drummer get wicked.
much trouble on my mind. Refuse to lose. Here's your ticket. Hear the drummer get wicked. Oh yeah. Rob Swift. Oh yeah. Break it down, Rob. Oh yeah, Rob Swift.
LL Cool J is hard as hell. Battle anybody, I don't care. You I accept. They all gonna tell double Elma. LL Cool J is hard as hell. Battle anybody, I don't care. You I accept. They all gonna.
Oh yeah. Some noise for the incredible Rob Swift.